Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be building the Think6.5 V2 by GrayStudio. This was a GB that went live on July 19th of 2020. Here's an overall look of the box, all the sides. GrayStudio did a really good job designing this box. I like the artwork that they did on the front. Inside this box is two more boxes. In this video, we'll be looking at boxes and boxes. I'll take a look at the first box here. Inside this box, we have our plate, and PCB, and we also have a nice package here with tweezers, a nice little screwdriver that GrayStudio included, and some extra bits. I believe this was stabilizer washers, extra diffuser, extra screws, extra LEDs, some gaskets, and rubber feet. Inside the box here we have the actual case. And the case that I went with was the Valentine version. So we got a nice E-white top and anodized pink bottom. I'm going to start the build off by putting the feet on first. Separate the base from the top with a supplied GrayStudios. I believe it was an Allen key. And the version that I got was the 2U. This is where that extra diffuser would go if you need it. Now we install the gaskets. Make sure we don't forget that. I would have used the tweezers that they supplied, but I found whenever working with gaskets, it's always easier to use your fingers. For the middle one, I'm just going to use a whole gasket and cut out where the USB goes. Whenever I do these gasket mount builds, or I build with gaskets, I always like to put the gaskets on the case instead of the plate. Just because in the future, if you ever decide to change the plate, at least you don't have to order extra gaskets or go hunting for gaskets or anything like that. gaskets on the top. Have a couple sips of coffee. And we finish it off. The PCB that I went with was the soldered version. The plate supplied with the board is a FR4. Just wanted to plug the PCB in just to check and make sure everything's working, make sure all the keys are working, all the LEDs are working. And for stabilizers, we're going to be using Durock V1s in pink. Onto soldering. For switches, we're going to be using Cobalts that I got from Apex keyboards. They have already been lubed and filmed with 205 and filmed with TX films. Like I say in all my other videos, whenever I do soldered builds, I always like to do the mods first. So any key with stabilizers basically. And then I also put a bunch of switches around the corners just to help the plate sit straight, sit flush, make sure there's no gaps between the switches and PCB or gaps between the switches and the plate. Once we have these main switches soldered on, I like to just double check, make sure everything's soldered properly, and make sure that everything sits flush. When everything checks out, we're ready to put the rest of the switches in. And that's it. Whenever I solder, I like to put a little bit of solder onto the tip first. I usually touch the pin and then I put a little bit more on while I leave the solder touching the pin for at least a couple seconds so that it flows through. Now we put everything back together. I'm going to be using this supplied, I think it's silicone, I'm not sure, it feels like silicone. When I was putting this on, it was a little confusing because the cutout at the top of the silicone looked like it was made for the USB port, but when it was laid out like that, the LED holes weren't lined up, so it's kind of weird. So I'll just put it in like that and put everything back together. For keycaps, I'm just going to rob the 7V of the CRPs, and with the power of editing, we're going to skip right to the sound test. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate you guys. If there's anything I can change in the future to make the videos better, let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe and hit the bell notification to be notified when I make new videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.